We were there until after maybe there about 4. We heard a kind of a helicopter hovering around, and we were not sure who was in the helicopter. Like, we were afraid probably they were even bandits, but we didn't know. So it hovered for some minutes. I'm not sure it was up to 30 minutes. No, just hovered around, and at a certain point we didn't hear it again. So that was how it was.
What happened in Papiri is not just another headline. It is not just another statistic. What happened in that quiet community is a national shockwave, because almost 290 children and teachers were taken in one coordinated operation that now raises bigger questions than we have answers for. Right now, as you watch this, 239 school children and 12 teachers from St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary School are somewhere in the forests of Niger State, or possibly beyond, held by armed terrorists. No ransom demand, no communication, no proof of life, nothing. And a very disturbing detail has now emerged. A helicopter was hovering above the school during the attack. Now let's break this down clearly. When the terrorists invaded St. Mary's Catholic School in Papiri, witnesses, including the principal and head teacher, had motorcycles, multiple vehicles, and the sound of a helicopter circling overhead. This means something critical. This was not an ordinary rural bandit attack. This was a coordinated operation involving air surveillance, multiple vehicles, and a structured evacuation plan for nearly 300 hostages. My viewers, please like this video and subscribe. Parents arrived at the school to find a heartbreaking scene. Uniforms scattered, sandals abandoned, classrooms empty, mothers wailing, fathers collapsing on the ground, some parents already dead from shock. A man named Samson Naja said he could only imagine the torture his 15-year-old son is going through because he himself was once kidnapped. He said the bandits refused naira and demanded a better currency. Then there is the emotional testimony of teacher Mateus, whose 5-year-old daughter saved her from being abducted. The child saw her father on the floor, shouted, refused to leave, and had a gun pointed at her head. Yet she still refused to be quiet until her mother was spared. Another angle to this issue is what the principal and head teacher described. They had banging on the gates, children crying, and voices shouting, "Pack the children, get money." Then the helicopter appeared, but they were too afraid to know who was inside. It hovered, circled, and then disappeared. The Catholic Bishop of Kontagora, Bishop Bulus Yunana, has pleaded with the government, saying many parents have already died from shock. The longer these children stay away, the worse the trauma will be. My viewers, please like this video and subscribe. Now, let us look at this clearly. There are legal questions, there are political questions, and there are questions nobody wants to answer publicly. Legally, the government is required under both the Constitution and the Child Rights Act to ensure the safety of school children. Politically, the presence of a helicopter raises suspicions of state complicity or involvement of powerful individuals. Because how do terrorists in the middle of the night coordinate motorcycles, coordinate vehicles, move 300 hostages, and operate freely for hours without being intercepted in a state with military bases and air surveillance? From this point, we need to understand something important. Helicopters require registration, tracking, and clearance. They cannot fly low over a community without showing up on aviation radars. So the question is simple but heavy. Whose helicopter was it? And if the government claims not to know, then we have a deeper crisis, because it means either 1, a rogue group is operating aircraft inside Nigeria, or 2, somebody with access to aviation privileges facilitated this operation. Both options are troubling. Another angle to this issue is that the government has successfully rescued the Kebbi schoolgirls, and individuals abducted from a church in Kwara, proving that when the state wants to act, it can. So why this silence now? Why this slowness? Why this lack of urgency? If you value balanced analysis, kindly subscribe. To understand this better, we must place it within the wider Nigerian context. Nigeria is going through worsening insecurity, political mistrust, ethnic tension, economic hardship, youth anger, historical trauma. For many families, this event brings back memories of Chibok, Dapchi, Kagara, Bethel Baptist, and so many unnamed communities. Parents in Papiri are not just dealing with kidnapping, they are dealing with the fear that their children might be forgotten like the Chibok girls were. Nigeria is a country where the poor are left to negotiate with terrorists, where communities form their own vigilantes, and where government responses are often slow, bureaucratic, or politically influenced. This kidnapping touches real families, mothers who cannot sleep, fathers who walk around aimlessly, siblings crying at home, teachers traumatized, communities living in fear. It affects farmers who can no longer go to their farms. It affects schools that are now afraid to operate. It affects the national economy due to instability in rural areas. Let us take a moment to feel the human pain behind these numbers. 239 children, 12 teachers, a whole generation taken away in one night. Supporters of the government says security forces are working behind the scenes. Negotiations cannot be made public. Operations take time. But critics say the government only rescues when cameras are watching. If these children were from elite schools, the response would be different. This silence is suspicious. Some families are hopeful. Others have lost hope entirely. Some parents have stopped eating. Some mothers sit every day in front of the school gate, staring into the bush. Some fathers blame themselves for not relocating earlier. This is no longer a security issue alone. It is a national emotional wound. Please like this video and subscribe. Now, what about the government's perspective? From the government's angle, several things may be happening. 1. The security forces may be tracking the kidnappers silently. They might be avoiding media disclosure. They may be trying to prevent panic. They could be tracking phone signals or drone images. 2. The helicopter involvement may not necessarily indicate government complicity. It could be a hired civilian aircraft. It could be a decoy. It could be a stolen or unregistered helicopter. 3. Negotiations may be ongoing through intermediaries, traditional rulers, community leaders, clergy, secret channels. 4. The government may be avoiding another international embarrassment like the Chibok situation that stained Nigeria's image for years. However, even with these explanations, one thing is clear. The silence is creating suspicion. The lack of updates is generating fear. And the visible absence of urgency is causing the public to question the sincerity of the government's commitment. If you value balanced analysis, kindly subscribe. Now let us look at what happens next. Security forces may launch a combined military-police operation supported by air surveillance. Most school kidnappings in Nigeria end through middlemen negotiations. Protests will increase. The media will intensify coverage. Civil society will demand transparency. Politicians may use this incident to blame opponents, to score points, or to push agendas ahead of elections. If the story gains global traction, donor countries or NGOs may pressure the government. More schools in rural communities may shut down. Parents will become afraid. Children may drop out permanently. Investors avoid regions with high insecurity. Agriculture suffers. Communities become poorer. Even if the children return, the psychological damage could last for years. My viewers, please like this video and subscribe. So as we wait for answers, one thing is certain. The story of Papiri is no longer just about one school. It is a mirror held up to Nigeria, showing our insecurity, our failures, our pain, and our hope. Please like this video and subscribe. If you value balanced analysis, kindly subscribe. My viewers, thank you for watching this breakdown. If you want this converted into a voiceover script, shorter video version, or TikTok 3-part series, just let me know.